Prey is right around the corner, and considering there's a demo out, there's still a lot that we don't know about it. I'm Andrew the New Guy, and today in GameRanx, we're here to talk about 5 things you need to know about Prey. Starting at number 5, it's super important to be aware of the fact that this is a brand new game and story, and that it has nothing to do with the original Prey that came out in 2006, and has nothing to do with Prey 2 as well. This is a reimagining of the series, and it's also being created by a different team. In fact, not a single person that worked on the first game is even involved in the development process for this one. It's being developed by Arcane Studios, who brought you the Dishonored series, but it is a different team than the one that worked on Dishonored 2, so don't go into Prey expecting to get Dishonored but in space. There was a sequel to the original Prey that started development in about 2009, and you were going to be playing as a US Marshal named Killiam Samuels, who was abducted and now lives on the alien world of Exodus and works as a bounty hunter. I remember seeing the trailer for this when it was first announced, and I was so excited, and I'm actually pretty bummed that it was canceled because I thought it looked really cool, and it kind of reminded me of the seedy underworld of Coruscant. Yeah, can I just get Prey 2, please? I'll take it in its unfinished state. I don't mean to take anything away from this Prey game, it looks really good, but I still just really want Prey 2. And next up at number 4, the aliens in Prey that you'll be fighting are called Typhon, and there are all different types, with each having their own powers. First off, there are mimics who are smaller and pretty quick, and they're able to disguise themselves as inanimate objects, so they're able to blend in with the environment. So you're gonna have to be aware of your surroundings. These little guys are definitely gonna be causing some good jump scares. Then there are Phantoms, which is a combination of mimics and humans. They're created by Weavers, which is another type of Typhon that is able to mix the DNA of a Typhon with a dead human and can reanimate the corpse as this really creepy phantom. There are 3 different types of Phantoms that you can run into, each one dealing different elemental damage. There's fire, electricity, and poison. Then there's the Nightmare, a big Typhon that is super powerful, and you may want to run and hide instead of trying to take it on. I think the Typhon have a real cool look to them as well. They don't look like Xenomorphs or the Mars Attacks Martians, or even something out of a Star Wars movie. They're actually kind of reminiscent of the Venom symbiote, crossed or something from Half-Life. They're really creepy looking, which fits really well with Prey's tone, which is obviously like a sci-fi horror tone. I don't know, I just think it's cool that the Typhon come off more as monsters than aliens. Up next, number 3, while we are on the topic of the aliens from the game, there are different types of alien powers that you can invest in. And they kind of work like the plasmids from BioShock. And you can choose how much you want to invest into these powers. The more you invest into them, the more the aliens are aware of your presence. For example, that big alien that we mentioned before called the Nightmare, he's essentially there just to hunt you down and kill you, and the more you invest into the alien powers, the more he shows up. Also, turrets on the space station will also attack you if you invest heavily into the alien powers because you'll register as an alien to them. And there are a few different powers that you can choose from. The one that you see everywhere on the internet and in every trailer is the Mimic power, and with this one you can turn into an everyday item like a chair or a coffee cup, and you can use this power to squeeze through a tight spot that you wouldn't normally be able to get through, or maybe turn into something to help hide from an enemy that is hunting you down, like the Nightmare. There are powers that are more offensive as well, and some that use mind control. And like I said, you have the option to use a ton of these powers or only a few, and that decision comes with consequence. There are also a bunch of human abilities that you can get as well that are broken down into 3 different categories: Scientist, Engineer, and Security. And you can combine different powers with different weapons to create different combos, and the game really lets you play how you want to play. And moving on to number 2, while Prey has your standard pistols and shotguns and melee weapons, it also has some pretty interesting non-traditional guns as well. There's the glue cannon that you get pretty early on, and it really isn't much of an offensive weapon, but actually more of a tool. You can use it to freeze enemies and even block them from getting close to you, but you can also use it to seal off gas leaks and create makeshift ladders. There's also the Disruptor stun gun, which is a non-lethal weapon that works on both humans and machines. Then there's the Recycler Charge, which is a crazy-ass grenade that upon detonation creates a black hole that pulls in items around it, then deconstructs them into material that you can then use to craft new items. Honestly, all 3 of these weapons are used more as a tool than a weapon, which is pretty interesting. It's cool that Prey has its own idea of weapons and combat. And finally, at number 1, Prey takes place in an alternate timeline where President John F. Kennedy survives the assassination attempt, and because of him surviving and remaining president, he puts more money into the space program. Because of the increased activity in space program research, a collective of aliens begin to notice this increased activity in space, and they start to make their presence known by attacking. The US and the USSR team up to defeat and capture the Typhon, after which they build a space station that orbits the moon, and it's here that they imprison the Typhon. Eventually, the space station is taken into into full ownership of the US, and they build research labs to begin studying these aliens. Eventually, there are fatal accidents on board, and the US shuts down the project. Years later, the Transtar Corporation gets possession of the station, renaming it Talos 1, and they learn to harness the power of the Typhon and create neuromods, which restructure the brain to take on the abilities of the aliens, and it's with these neuromods that Transtar become financially successful. And you play as Morgan Yu, who can be male or female, and you awaken aboard the Talos 1 in the year 2032. You are a subject in an experiment that is meant to alter humanity, but there's an alien outbreak and you need to survive and discover exactly what is going on. And those are 5 things you need to know about Prey, which comes out this week for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. But we want to hear from you guys. Are you excited to play Prey? Or are you maybe bummed about not getting Prey 2? Meet us down in the comments and let us know. Also, hitting that like button really helps us out, and if you're new here, we put out videos like this every single day, and the best way to get them is by subscribing to the channel. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.